You almost have to feel for the propagandists and puppets on networks like CNN, man. Everything is coming apart and they have no idea what to do. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a way for them to report what is actually happening in the world and keep whatever credibility that they think that they still have, right? Every single case against Trump is coming apart. And they can't just blame right wing judges and Republican boogeymen, but they'll sure as hell try, man.
Delay. But also, we should note Special Counsel Jack Smith really has voiced some serious concerns, if not animus, toward this judge.
Yeah, absolutely. And there may come a time when he tries to get her removed from the case. But at this point, that's premature. What Jack Smith knows tonight, though, is that it's very possible that he may not be able to bring either one of his federal cases against former President Trump before the election. And the election is a significant point on the calendar because if Trump is reelected, he can have Jack Smith and both of his cases dismissed. Now, here, this case, the classified documents case, postponed indefinitely. But the other prosecution that Smith has brought, the January 6th case, also on ice while the Supreme Court contemplates if Trump has presidential immunity. Now, in their arguments a couple weeks ago, they signaled that they're not likely to toss that case out, but they might toss it back down to the trial court for more litigation, which, again, that's why it would make it impossible to bring before the November election. Obviously, we're here in Manhattan for this criminal case. The other one outstanding is the RICO case down in Georgia. But again, it goes back to the strategy of delay. By trying to have Fani Willis and Nathan Wade removed from the case, they successfully likely pushed that until late in this year. And it's very difficult, again, if Trump is reelected, to put him on trial down there. So this long game that they've been playing to try to delay everything, overall, has been successful. The one case that is going forward is what was always considered kind of the runt of the litter, the least consequential.
You know, they're already hedging as much as they possibly can on the Stormy Daniels hush money misdemeanor nonsense. They say it's the runt of the litter, it's the least consequential. And honestly, if it keeps going like it's going, it's going to end up in an acquittal. And I've said it before, if they drag that man through all of this nonsense and they get anything other than a conviction, you might as well just swear the guy into the presidency right there in the courtroom, because that is exactly what's going to happen. People are wising up, and that case is not going well, but it is going, at least, and it's starting to look like, starting to look more and more like it will be the only Democrat election interference scam to actually make it into a courtroom. There's an appeal now happening in Georgia. The Supreme Court is involved with the January 6th case, and now the documents case is on indefinite hold to make it through a truly insane level of pretrial issues. Some of them really, really, really serious stuff. Things like the FBI mishandling and maybe even manufacturing evidence. The government themselves essentially planting the boxes at Mar-a-Lago. They're the ones that had custody of the stuff to begin with. And Jack Smith himself misleading the court in his filings. But these are serious issues. But CNN, they're not able to face it yet. I mean, I think they're going to have to get there.
Breaking news, the judge in Trump's classified documents case has indefinitely postponed Trump's trial. Judge Eileen Cannon, who was appointed by Trump himself and has issued a number of controversial rulings in his favor, saying it would be, quote, imprudent and, quote, inconsistent to set a trial date now. The case was supposed to go to trial this month. The decision all but guarantees that that is now not going to happen before the election. Out front now, former Trump White House attorney Ty Cobb. Ty, you've been clear with your feelings of how Judge Cannon has handled this case, but this is direct. This isn't just she's, by having an unrealistic trial date on the calendar, we know she's not really putting one on. This is direct, like it's over. It's not happening. What's your reaction to it?
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Aaron. This is direct. This is clear. All she's really done today, though, is make official what everybody, including Jack Smith, already knew, which was she had no intention of getting this case to trial, and she wasn't competent to get this case to trial. She talks about her duty to fully and fairly consider the pending motions. She's had months to do that and did very little. She's ruled on only 3 of the 12 motions to dismiss, all of which could have been easily resolved by now. She ignored Jack Smith's Jack Smith set forth a detailed hearing and pleading schedule for the CIPA issues, the Classified Intelligence materials, Procedures Act materials, which she wholly ignored and did not act on until today, when she scheduled 2 of the necessary hearings.
In almost 2 minutes, these people ignore everything. I mean, really, really very serious issues with the case. They don't even talk about the FBI staging evidence. They ignored the government's own chain of custody of the documents. They ignore everything. They ignore everything they can except for Judge Cannon. And they try to make their own victims, which is what their viewers are, believe that this is nothing more than either bias or utter incompetence, they say. I mean, everything this judge does is questioned and twisted. And just juxtapose that with Juan Merchan in New York. This guy let 8 days of prejudicial testimony onto the record in New York, and these people don't question anything. They do not say a word. But Judge Cannon is incompetent for protecting a defendant's due process. It's mainly because they don't like the defendant that she's protecting. But, I mean, amazing stuff. If you're watching CNN, you'd probably believe all this junk, because there are things that they just cannot find a way to tell you. They're afraid to tell their viewers certain things because it will be the first time they ever heard it and all credibility will be gone. There are things that they would never even imagine telling their viewers.
In terms of the classified documents case, I remember the infamous picture that the FBI took of all those classified documents that they said that they took from Mar-a-Lago. Specifically, tell me about what you're saying, that what evidence was tampered with, and did the FBI tamper with this?
Yeah, so that famous photograph, what we have now learned, and the government has had, Jack Smith and his prosecutors have had to admit, is that was staged, and those top secret classified sheets that all the public saw and said, oh my God, look at those top secret documents, those were placed there by the FBI. And what Jack Smith admitted in court this week was that, in his words, they mishandled the classified documents and misrepresented those to the court. Maria, that's a kind way of saying we tampered with the evidence and then we lied to the court about it. And they got caught when President Trump's lawyers and the other co-defendants raised this issue and said, look, the documents here don't match up. The documents that were presented to us don't match the digitally scanned records of when they were taken from Mar-a-Lago. And Jack Smith, not only did they tamper with that and lie to the court about it, but he's now admitted to the court that he doesn't know how that happened. He's only offered a number of possible explanations for how that could have happened. So he's absolutely blown the chain of custody. And again, he has a prosecutor, lead prosecutor in this case, Jay Bratt, who met with White House counsel and a representative of the National Archives several times in the weeks before Jack Smith was even appointed.
Wow.
Maria, this reeks of crossfire hurricane when the Obama-Biden administration fabricated evidence before the FISA court, lied to the court about it to pursue Donald Trump, and now we're seeing it again in this classified documents case. The judge could dismiss this case at any point in time, Maria.
Yeah, you're never going to see that on CNN. On CNN, the judge is slow and incompetent, which are probably the results of either her implicit bias because she lives in evil Florida and she's a woman who likely knows what a woman is, and she was appointed by the orange man himself. On CNN, that's a problem. That's all they're going to focus on. But in the real world, the prosecution themselves, they're the ones likely biased. I mean, the lead prosecutor has been involved with the administration personally, and the special counsel just had to admit in open court to tampering with evidence and misleading the court. That's what's going on in the real world. And here's the thing, man. If Judge Cannon wasn't being so careful to avoid the look of bias, she would have absolutely already nuked this case for sure. Any other defendant, this case is a goner. And if she was a Democrat judge, the case is a goner. But she's being very, very careful, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, getting the government on the record in every way she possibly can. Also, a great thing she's doing, unredacting and releasing every document that she can get her hands on, which is another thing you won't see on CNN. But on X, there's a lady named Julie Kelly down in Florida doing really, really, really great reporting on every element of this case. But we'll see what happens, man. It's looking like the real world is going to win in the end. And it's about damn time, man. We've been waiting for the good guys to win for a very, very long time. But that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.